Hello again, this is Robert Veach here. This is my video review of the F180W FPV RC Quadcopter drone. It has a live camera feed using Wi-Fi. It's 4-channel, 2.4 gigahertz transmitter, 6 gyro system, and it's sold by a company called Boom Shop on Amazon. Let's open up the box and I'll show you what the unit comes with. Before I do that, there is 2 apps over here. There's an Android app so you could scan, and an iOS app right here. If you don't have the ability on your cell phone to scan that, there's free apps to do that. Download those first so you can go to the website of this company to get that software, which I did try. So inside, behind the plastic holder, I see some instruction manuals. This looks like it's for the software. This is for the transmitter. This is for the unit itself. Now these are written typically, as you'd expect, they're pretty unclear. So I'm going to try and show the operation of this without having to use the manuals. Let's see that we have the quadcopter itself, with the guard on there and the props already installed. The white in the front, the black in the back, little transmitter antenna. It has one of the batteries already slid into place and charged. Then you have the transmitter, and then behind this little box you have some additional things I'll show you. First thing is 3 extra batteries, so there's a total of 4 batteries. And they have a special connector on there. They're 3.7 volt, 380 milliamp hours. So you get a total of 4 of those. One's in the quadcopter. You get this nice little multi-port 4-port charger, and they include a cable to charge it. Real simple to use. You just plug it into the little back mini port on there, and you plug this end into a standard 1 amp USB port on your computer, or plugged into the wall, whatever you have available, and then you have 4 ports on there. And the way this works is you line up the bottom edge and you plug it in like that, and then the red LED comes on, and when it is complete with its charge cycle, that LED will turn off, let you know that it's fully charged. Also, in this container, you have a couple other items I'm going to show you. You have a transmitter screen holder or cell phone holder that you're going to plug into the transmitter, and it plugs right into the top right there, and then you could adjust the angle for your cell phone. That's nice. And included is a tool to remove the propellers, and a simple USB 1-port charger is included, also the 4 extra props. So you can see one of these LEDs is already extinguished, so that one is charged. Now the operation of this quadcopter I'm going to show in the video. I'm going to show it flying. I'm going to tether it with a string and hopefully be able to show you the controls, how they operate the quadcopter itself. You can easily remove this safety guard by just pulling like that, and it unsnaps. These are nice, but they tend to crack kind of easily. I already cracked one piece of it on here, but they do protect the propellers. Now when I got this unit, one of the propellers kept flying off, one of the black ones. I think it was this one right here. So it might have had a larger diameter hole. So I replaced it with one of the spare ones, and that solved that problem. So you might want to do the same thing if you run into that same situation. Now in terms of getting this operated, I'm going to show you how you bind it and show you how it flies. But down here in my basement, I'm going to show the Wi-Fi connection and how to get that working next. So the first thing I did is I downloaded a program called Barcode Scan, and it was a free program, and that allows you to scan the box and get the barcode there. That's the first thing you want to do, is find that in the Google Play Store. Once you download the program, it's called VS_UFO. And make sure you get that program downloaded properly. And when you open this program up, you double click on it and you go into landscape mode, and that's what it looks like. When you hit the question mark, it gives you just a display of how to use all the controls. That's not the controller function yet. You hit the play button right there, and it's going to attempt to connect to the quad to get the camera signal. You have an on-off button right there that turns on the ability to control the quad with throttle and tilt or yaw and left to right. And it works quite nicely. Now once you connect with the quad with this, you can't use the transmitter at that point. You have to make sure that your Wi-Fi is turned off, otherwise it'll keep taking control of the quad. You won't be able to get the transmitter to operate. So I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to turn the quad on, see if we can get a signal here to demonstrate the camera on here. So I'm going to plug this in, and you can see it's blinking. Now let's go to, I'm going to turn this app off and go to my Wi-Fi signal. It's going to come up as DFD dash, and then there's going to be a number sequence right there. So you want to click on that, and it's going to complain that there's no internet connection, but that's okay because it doesn't use internet connections. So it says Wi-Fi has no internet access, and this network has no internet access, stay connected, and you want to say yes. So that should allow the connection now between the Wi-Fi and the cell phone using the Wi-Fi signal. Now if we go back, and hopefully we open this up and we go back to play, let's see if we can connect and get a signal. And there you go. So now wherever I point the camera, you can see it's showing my lab and my studio lights right there. So now I'm getting a live signal. And you can see that the lag is not bad at all. If you look at that, we're talking about maybe a quarter of a second or less. Now I tested the range outside. It's really bad weather, so I couldn't really fly it. And I was able to get about 100, 150 feet before it started to break up. And with a quad this small, you want to keep it nice and close to you. Now in terms of controlling this quad with this app, I remember I mentioned there's an on-off button right there. So now you can see that you got the image superimposed on the joysticks. So as you can see, if I increase the throttle right here, there goes the quad starting to accelerate. And then you got your left, right, and you got your yaw, left and right. So this app works really nicely if you're used to controlling quads with an app. I'm not, so I like to use the controller to control it. But you can see it works and you get a live signal. Now a little bit about the recording on here. The website or Amazon says that it's HD 1280 by 720. It is not. The camera on here is not HD. It's an SD signal. It's 720 by 576. So instead of a 16:9 size like right there, it actually is a 5:4, and it's 25 frames per second. It's not 30 frames per second. And I'm going to demonstrate on the computer when I downloaded it from my cell phone. You could see that it's not really great quality, but it is usable. But the audio doesn't seem to have any, doesn't seem to work. There's no audio on it. I tried it in 4 different players. I never got any audio. So keep that in mind when you get access to your videos. There won't be any audio on there. This unit does not hold an SD card like one of the original ones does. The electronic is removed because now it has a Wi-Fi signal. Okay, so the videos that the quadcopter takes are only on your cell phone. It does not use a SD card on this version. And the buttons on the transmitter that turn the video on and off don't control the video. Only the app itself controls the video. So when you record, it's going to store it on your cell phone in the DCIM directory on most cell phones. Then you'll see there's a file here called VS_UFO right here. And when you open that file up, you'll get your videos. And they're .avi format, which is shown right here. Now when I put it into a program called Media Info, it tells me about the video and what's going on. And it's not an HD video, it's a 720 by 576. It's a 5:4 ratio and it's 25 frames per second. Normal HD is 1280 by 720, so this is not HD. The audio stream is showing that it's a monophonic channel right here, but when I play the video, I don't get any audio for some reason. And I tried multiple players. There's just no audio there, regardless of the player or the editing software. So you're not going to get audio out of this, and you're just going to get a non-HD video, but it does work and you can gain access to that video. Now if you want to use the remote control, let's do that next. Now what I did, I went to my cell phone and I essentially turned Wi-Fi off so that it doesn't interfere with the transmitter. Now I found that to get the transmitter to work, you turn the Wi-Fi off, and then I put the throttle full, and then I turn on the transmitter and it blinks, letting you know it's in some kind of a wait state. And then you power up the quadcopter in that order. Keep your fingers away from the propellers because they may turn on. Always be safe. Then you turn the quad on, you see it's blinking. Then it starts to blink slow. Then you drop the throttle down. Then you notice it doesn't blink anymore. And that's how you gain access to enabling it. And then you can see you've got your controls right here. You got your left is going to do that. You got your right, which is going to do that. Your back, which is going to do that. And your forward, which is going to do that. And your yaw is going to be left and right. And you got your throttle up and down. You have your trim tabs right here. And you'll notice that when you can trim it, the flight this way, left to right. And when you get back to the center, it will beep like that with a long beep to let you know you've reached the center. And that goes for all these controls, including the throttle and this control right here. Now there is a mode on here, which is mode 1 and mode 2. And I would suggest that you stay in mode 1 because right here's the button, there's mode 1 and mode 2. Mode 2 switches so that this becomes the yaw and this becomes the left and right pitch. I wouldn't recommend that because it's confusing and nobody uses that mode. This right here turns the lights on and off. On the quad, as you can see over here, the back tail lights get turned on and off right there. That's kind of neat. You have a controller right here which allows you to control the sensitivity of the quad from about 10% to 90% that it shows you. Once you pick the sensitivity you want, you just click on that and it sets it. Now this does not affect the power of this quad. A lot of people are confused. This just affects the sensitivity of all the controls, the yaw, the banking, forward and back. That's what this does. And I would recommend starting off at about 35%, 40%, and that's about it. These buttons for photography and for video, they do not work, even though they beep, because there's no SD card in here. It's now using the Wi-Fi that I showed, so that's not functional. This return to home or return, if you hit this button, the quadcopter will fly backwards towards you, and it will fly past you. So to stop it, you hit one of these. You hit any one of these. Actually, you hit this control key down like that, and it will stop it. And I believe at that point it goes into the mode where the position of the quad is not important, where you just can bring the quad to yourself like in an emergency. So I haven't tested that because the weather's so bad outside. But that's the basic operation of this, and you could see that when you put that holder on there and you put your cell phone, you get a pretty nice FPV kind of a signal to this, and you can see what's happening and how it's flying, and it's pretty neat. And you can extract the videos from your cell phone, which I'm going to show. And one thing I wanted to show, as we're still connected right here, I'm going to turn this transmitter off, and if you push these tabs in, this comes out, and you could rotate and put the mode or the controller on this side and the throttle on this side, and they snap right back in place. Now if you want to do that, I'm not sure why you want to do that, but let's see what happens. So again, the throttle's on this side, so I've got to go high, and I got to drop it down to get it to sync. So now the throttle's on the right side and the yaw. Oh, that's one thing I want to point out. When you swap it like this, the throttle becomes on the right side, but now this controller is no longer the yaw, it's controlling the pitch left to right. This side now has the yaw. So that's kind of a strange arrangement. I wouldn't recommend that. So I would recommend just keeping them where they are, with the throttle on the left and the attitude control on the right. So this is the throttle, high and low. This is backwards, forwards, left, and right. This is the yaw, left, and yaw, right. So you got back, forward, right, left. Now the string is making it kind of hard for it to control, but I just wanted to demonstrate those basic functions. As you can see, it's pretty stable once you trim it out. I play it outside, but there's 30-mile-an-hour winds. So what's my overall opinion about this F180 FPV RC quadcopter, which is sold by Boom Shop? I think it's got some really good qualities to it. I'm going to go over those first. It's very powerful. The power to weight ratio is really good. This thing accelerates fast. It's got a lot of control. I mean, it really does move quite fast in the air. You get about 6 minutes flights if you're at full power. Keep it close because you can go out of range, and also it's powerful. The controller is nice. It's got a nice feel to it. It's got a lot of functions. And I like that. What I think they missed on is some of the things are a little intermittent. Sometimes it doesn't always connect. You got to redo the connection process. The signal, the FPV signal is okay once you download the software and get that working. The video quality is usable, but it doesn't have audio. But it is usable. It's not HD, but you can import it and use it. So overall, I think this is a good value for the price, and I think you can have a lot of fun with it. Just take your time and learn how to use it. So I'm going to give this product a full 4-star rating on my channel. And I hope this video review helped you with your buying decisions. Thanks for watching.